There is a specific intelligence alert about Pakistan-based terrorist groups. Lashkar-e-Mohammed, it's a hybrid group. They've left their camps in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir and they're trying, or they will try to cross over from the higher reaches of the Pir Panjal anytime to target tourists in Jammu and Kashmir. They want to target tourists in the coming tourist season, the summer season. There's a very specific intelligence alert, and I want to cut across to India today's Shiv Arur, who joins us with the latest. Shiv, post the surgical strike, these terrorist training camps had shifted, they'd relocated, but what are your sources telling you about the latest?
Well, the terror groups, in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir and the launch pads have been under a huge amount of pressure already. The surgical strike that the Indian Army conducted on September 29th last year, coupled with a huge amount of pressure on terror cells within the Kashmir Valley all through last year and this year, has obviously meant that they're under pressure, they're on the back foot. The onus is on them to try and stage bigger and bigger attacks. And what better way to do that than to target, tourist centers? Apart from the fact that this, embarrasses the Indian government, it also, means that the people who've been resisting terrorist pressure within the Kashmir Valley will also have to pay for it with the loss of livelihood. So this is a dangerous game. This is a dangerous prospect coming into summer in the Kashmir Valley. But as you and I have both been hearing, Gaurav, the security forces are fully prepared and they are looking at this intelligence report very, very closely.
Shiv Arur, for the moment, many thanks for joining me. Keep tracking that story. I will come to you for more. But I now want to shift focus to what happened in Supreme Court today. The court pulled up both the centre and the Jammu and Kashmir government for not filing their response on a petition seeking a check on alleged misuse of schemes for the minorities in Jammu and Kashmir. So are Hindus, Sikhs, Christians and Buddhist minorities in Kashmir? Do Muslims, despite being 68% plus of the population, according to the 2011 census, corner benefits? Anusha Soni brings us this report.
What is a minority community? The question at the root of a heated debate in Kashmir. Officially, it's the Muslims community. Who, by virtue of their 14.23% share in the national population, enjoy minority status in Kashmir too. But is this status disconnected from the ground reality in the state?
Muslims comprise of 68.3% population in Jammu and Kashmir. Hindus 28.4%, Sikhs 1.9%, Buddhists 0.9% and Christians 0.3%. This disparity has led to the protest by various communities against the accrual of minority benefits by a group which is actually a majority one in the valley.
And now the matter is before the country's highest court.
Jammu and Kashmir, we always hold that portion is also a part of India. Therefore, immediately, I don't think it will help that our claim in that way. Therefore, it should not be discussed.
Supreme Court has said you have to do it. Unfortunately, this government has a history of not accepting Supreme Court diktats or orders. They should, if they love the Constitution and have their faith in the Constitution, they should abide by what Supreme Court is saying.
From the rehabilitation of Kashmiri Pandits to the provision of permanent status to the West Pakistan refugees, the onus is now on the BJP and the PDP.
Muslims are 68% of the population in Jammu and Kashmir. Can they be treated as minorities? What are the benefits that minorities in Jammu and Kashmir should get that they're not getting? Ankur Sharma, he's the petitioner. He joins us on the broadcast. Anusha Soni covers Supreme Court for India today. She's also with us. But I want to begin by asking Shabnam Lone. She's a Supreme Court lawyer. She's a Kashmiri on the broadcast. Ma'am, is it fair? Muslims, they are 68% of the population of Jammu and Kashmir. They get the benefits of minorities, but not the Hindus or the Christians or the Sikhs.
First of all, let me start by this, Garo. In 21st century India, I, as a citizen, as a lawyer, I really don't like this debate, Hindu-Muslim, Hindu-Muslim. I wish, we would have taken some better progressive directions. Having said that, let me start from Kashmir. Kashmir, as you know, is a journey of cataclysmic constitutional misdemeanors right from 1947 onwards. Kashmir is a complex problem. Kashmir is a complex issue. Now, to what you said, that they are 68% Muslims. In 1947 census, Kashmir was 98% Muslims.
Ma'am,
having said that, there is
may I come on facts, ma'am? Jammu and Kashmir, ma'am, Jammu and Kashmir, in Kashmir, ma'am, let's make that distinction. They're 68.3 in Jammu and Kashmir, they are 96 in Kashmir. So, that stays. But I want to come on the issue of benefits for minorities. It's not about Hindu Muslims, it's about Hindus, Christians, Sikhs, Buddhists.
I'm talking about official census data. No, I'm talking about official census data that was released in 2008. That book is with me. It is in my Kashmir library, which stated that despite the fact that Kashmiri Pandits were 0.3% of the entire population, they had the lion's share of the best jobs in the state. Not only the state government jobs, but all the central government jobs. And I say this with authority. Now, having said that, what is this that the Muslims are enjoying minority benefits?
Okay, respond to that, Ankur Sharma. Respond to that. Okay, you are saying it's wrong. You heard Shabnam Lone there. Respond to her. What are benefits that Muslims are enjoying that Hindus or Christians or Buddhists or Sikhs don't get in Kashmir?
This conceptual premise of minorities, I believe, probably needs to be cleared. Supreme Court has categorically said in many judgments that minorities will be identified at state level, which means that state is the basic unit for the identification of minorities. Now, Jammu and Kashmir is a state where minorities have not been identified. As you said, according to 2011 census, Muslims are more than 50%. Their actual population is 68% in the entire state. So they by no means constitute a minority. But unfortunately, the minority schemes that are meant for actual minorities are being given to the Muslim community.
Give us specifics.
Why I say Muslims? Because we are talking about minorities. And minorities, according to the constitution, is religious and linguistic minorities. I will explain.
Mr. Ankur Sharma. Mr. Ankur Sharma, explain it. Explain it, please.
I am explaining this. Please don't jump the gun. Yeah. I am explaining. I am trying to clear the conceptual premise. The Supreme Court and the law of the land is.
No, that you make clear. Yes. Sir, come on specifics. What are benefits that Muslims enjoy which are meant for minorities?
Yes, there is a Prime Minister's 15-point program which are 15.
Yes, please.
Which are 15 different schemes meant for minorities. And what minorities? Minorities identified under the National Commission for Minorities Act. Now, because of Article 370, the National Commission for Minorities Act is not applicable to the state of JNK, which means that Muslims of JNK, Sikhs of JNK, Christians of JNK, Buddhists and Jains of JNK are not even national minorities.
Okay.
The Act provides, the scheme provides. Kindly, please do not interrupt in between. Kindly, please do not interrupt. She is only trying to stall this entire debate.
No, sir, we have to be on specifics here. I'm very specific that
you are
these
not
are
on the
benefits.
facts, sir. We know National Commission. Come on the facts.
Clause 7A of the program implementation guidelines of Prime Minister's 15-point program categorically says that if any national minority is a majority at a state level, then these minority benefits will not be available to that minority. These will be available to other notified minorities. And now we have two anomalies in the state of Jammu and Kashmir. Because of Article 370, the Central Act, NCM 1992 is not applicable, which means the minorities there or the national minorities otherwise at the national level are not even national minorities.
Okay. What is the legal position on this, Anusha? You were there in Supreme Court. The Supreme Court pulled up the central government and the Jammu and Kashmir government for not responding. Costs have been imposed. Explain the legal position for the benefit of our viewers.
Gaurav, it's very clear. In fact, it was twice that the Supreme Court, came down heavily on the centre and said you should, in fact, come out and very clearly specify that, what is the position and how do you actually have an entire policy on the minorities. The question is much deeper here because in law there is no explicit definition of how do you identify minorities. There's no number that, law gives. It just says that they have to be, less than 50%. However, as Ankur was pointing out, various Supreme Court judgments have said that the state should be considered as a unit. But it's going to have a snowball effect. Then you can't have Sikhs as minority in the state of Punjab. Then Sikhs in Punjab cannot have minority institutions.
Okay, I want to, for the moment, come back to the point of minorities in Jammu and Kashmir. Shabnam Lom, would you concede that if Muslims are 68% of the population, Hindus are 28% of the population, Sikhs are only 1.9% of the population, Buddhists are 0.9%, and this is the 2011 census, Christians are only 0.3%. So these are the minorities and they should get benefit of the central schemes for minorities, ma'am?
I would just like 1 minute to explain this. You see, Ankur Sharma is specifying the clauses of the National Minorities Act. Now again, you see, he avoided when I specifically wanted to know what are the benefits that the Muslims have taken, he was evasive about it. One. Secondly, he is plugging it with Article 370. I say this with authority and authenticity as a lawyer. It has got nothing to do with 370.
She's probably not paying attention
now
to what
you are trying to do, are you trying to mix politics and law? No, I know,
I
please,
categorically
Mr.
said
Ankur
there is
Sharma,
Prime
now hold
Minister's
on, let me
15-point
make a
program,
statement.
and there are
I know
more than
what you
40
are doing.
centrally sponsored schemes.
No,
The program implementation guidelines of which says that these
you
schemes
did
are only
not
for
say what
only for
benefits
national
the
minorities,
Kashmiri Muslim
only for
has
minorities
derived.
identified
No,
in the
you
NC.
did not
I am
say
giving
that.
you an answer. You are not ready to listen.
Mr.
Kindly,
Ankur Sharma,
kindly
now,
appreciate.
Mr. Ankur Sharma, you are
Ms. Lone, you are not paying attention to what I'm saying. You are not paying attention to what I'm saying. You are trivializing the issue. You are trivializing the issue. I'm giving you specific instances. I am saying Prime Minister's 15-point program. Prime Minister's 15-point program. You're not paying attention to what I'm saying. You're not paying. You are trivializing the issue. You are trivializing the issue. You are just engaged in propaganda.
Let's step back for a moment. Ms. Shabnam Lone, it is a sensitive issue and perhaps that's why even the BJP and the Congress, they've taken a rather pulled back stand on this, saying the time is not right. But I want to specifically ask you, Shabnam Lone, not because it's a Hindu versus Muslim thing it is not, ma'am, as an Indian, do you think minorities deserve reservation in terms of education, in terms of jobs? And when we're talking about minorities, I'm talking about 28% Hindus, I'm talking about 1.9% Sikhs, 0.9% Buddhists, and 0.3% Christians. Do they deserve reservation in educational institutions or in central government schemes?
Now, as a matter of right, Gaurav, the way I feel, I always think that merit is the best suitability for any job. I am for merit, and merit. I am not a person who would support reservation.
She should ask her Muslim
but the
brethren.
law of the country is
She should tell this to Kashmiri politicians, right, that do not take away the rights of minorities or actual minorities. If she wants merit to come first, then Muslims of J&K should tell the government that we do not want benefits which are actually meant for other minorities. And I would like to add here.
Mr. Ankur Sharma, you give your own bona fides.
Ma'am,
you are just trivializing the issue. You are not letting me speak.
You are trying to do.
You are not letting me speak. You are not letting me speak.
Ma'am,
it doesn't matter. I don't have to answer to you.
Ma'am,
you are only
I'm on the specific issue. Ma'am, I'm on the specific issue. Ma'am, I'm on the specific issue of education. Ma'am, I was on the specific issue of education, and education you sidestepped. You talked about jobs, and jobs should be only on merit. I'm specifically talking about education. Do minorities deserve quota in education in Jammu and Kashmir?
Now, Gaurav, listen to me. We are talking about this very, very sensitive issue in the backdrop of a system wherein now, as per the Washington Post, we have a militant monk in UP who is at the helm of a
Ma'am, you're not answering my question. I don't care what foreign publications say. He is an elected Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh. I'm talking about, for the moment, the issue in Jammu and Kashmir. Please respond to my question on Jammu and Kashmir, which you are not. Does that mean you agree, madam? Do you agree with Sajjad Lone, ma'am, the minister, the J&K Social Welfare Minister, who says such demands will add fire don't you think law has to be above fear of fire?
You know, Gaurav, we are discussing this. Now, I'm giving you some idea. And you have to promise me this. After 2 weeks, when the state government puts its report before the Honorable Supreme Court, we should have another program. Now, I want to see, let us all not assume things.
Probably
now, let
she's
us see
drifting
what the
from the
state
issue.
government and the center government do. And how they report to the Supreme Court, right? How they report
It
to the
doesn't
Supreme
matter.
Court.
She doesn't
now,
understand
if the
this
state
issue.
government and the central government differ,
She's clearly
No,
drifting
but
from
do
the
you
issue is
concede?
this.
Do you concede,
No,
Sajjad
no,
Lone, as
Mr.
minister
Mr.
is saying
Ankur
that this
Sharma-
will add fuel to fire?
That is-
This issue will.
I don't care
heat
what a
up
minister
things.
says. If he's ignorant, he should face the ire of the people there in J&K. All he talks is his ignorance.
Is the legal position, the Supreme Court, told the center and the state to decide and then come back. But this will have far-reaching consequences, Anusha, not just on Jammu and Kashmir, but on several other states, including Punjab and Meghalaya.
Absolutely, Gaurav. And between this heated debate is a very crucial question that the centre faces right now. They will have to define what minority is. They will have to now clearly lay down by a legislative procedure or an answer to the Supreme Court of India as to how are they going to identify the minorities in the country. Is it going to be state-wise? The various judgments of the court have said it very clearly, but this is the first time that the government will have to come forward to the court and clarify what policy it is going to use. So clearly a very tough political road ahead for this government.
Shabnam Lone, given the situation in Jammu and Kashmir, does the state need a minorities commission, ma'am?
This time, Gaurav, I am very respectful even to the Honorable Supreme Court. But the question is, this is a matter which could have been avoided. Given the situation in the state of Jammu and Kashmir, which is prevalent there, it is very treacherous terrain.
No. When we talk about minority rights, except for Muslims, it is an issue that you want to avoid. Now, how can you do that? Minority rights is directly related to the concept of the idea of secularism, and the Honorable Supreme Court has categorically said that secularism and minority rights constitute basic structure of the Constitution. You want to avoid, you want to loot, you want to loot the rights of actual minorities of J&K and want us to believe that this issue should have been avoided. I think you're trivializing the issue. We are talking here about minority rights and those rights which are provided under Article 29 and 30 of the Constitution. You are trivializing the issue. You are trivializing the issue. Your problem...
This man is paranoid and xenophobic.
We are talking about Articles 29 and 30. I suspect you. I suspect you. I would have to clear.
I am sorry. I will not permit any no personal comments on the broadcast because we are here discussing issues. And Shabnam Lone, very specifically, ma'am, does the state deserve a minorities commission? Shouldn't it have a minorities commission, especially when minorities have been discriminated against and we've seen mass exodus of a particular minority from the state?
Now, you see, it should have emanated from the state of Jammu and Kashmir, from the government of Jammu and Kashmir, not xenophobic statements made by Mr. Ankur Sharma.
She's not answering your question. She's not answering the question.
Let her respond. Let her respond.
She's not answering the question.
No. Please give her an opportunity. Please give her an opportunity. Go on, ma'am. Please respond.
You see, Gaurav, this is the problem. See, this is not the response that we need. We are treading very treacherous terrain. Hindu-Muslim divide. All the time now I hear this absolute nonsense and rubbish.
Ma'am, this is not, it is not a Hindu-Muslim divide. No, Shabnam Lone. No, Shabnam Lone. It is not a Hindu-Muslim issue. It is not. There are Christians. There are Christians. There are Sikhs. There are Buddhists. There are Buddhists. There are Christians. There are Sikhs. What about their rights? Why would you make it why would you say it's a Hindu-Muslim thing? What about Sikhs? Sikhs are 1.9%. What about Buddhists? What about Christians?
No, this is everybody's rights are paramount. Everybody's right is paramount. But don't forget, you have forgotten the yesterday of Kashmir. You have forgotten the bloody summer of 20016 of Kashmir. Kindly,
That is
kindly look
absolutely
into that.
irrelevant
I
to the
don't
issue.
want
That is
activists like Mr.
absolutely
Ankur
irrelevant to the
Sharma
issue.
to wave a
That is
blaze in the
absolutely
valley.
irrelevant to the issue. You're talking something which
It
is
is
totally
very relevant
irrelevant.
No,
because
ma'am,
you
but
don't know
isn't
anything
irrelevant
about
that a
Kashmir.
threat?
It
No,
is
no,
not.
you are talking
Don't try to
irrelevant.
do this.
No,
It
no,
is
but
totally-
why should there be a threat of 2016 or a threat of exodus of a particular community? Why should there be a threat? This is an issue that needs to be legally handled. It needs to be legally handled, and people in Jammu and Kashmir and elsewhere need to be educated. Do minorities deserve equal opportunity in the state? Clearly, this is an issue we will continue to hunt for
Legally, I'm
answers.
speaking.
Okay.
Legally speaking, there are many tangles.
Okay, those tangles then need to be
Legally speaking,
untangled.
Gaurav, I'm saying there
They
are many
need to be
tangles. In
untangled.
1947,
They need to be
No,
untangled.
this is what I'm
Issues
saying.
need to be
in
untangled.
1947, when the state went for merger, the state did not go for a merger in
the law different for
1947.
different
It
people?
just went for an accession. We have a constitution of the state of Jammu and Kashmir. In 1947, now
Okay,
Mr. Ankur Sharma
clearly-
cannot take the back door and go
Okay.
to the Supreme Court and waive this petition. No, not
Okay,
at all.
closing
This
comments, Mr.
petition
Sharma.
is
Now
doing
the
Closing
more
question
comments.
is
harm
now she
to the
has
state of
absolutely
Okay.
sabotaged this entire debate.
Again on the issue of specifics, as far as we are concerned, on India First, we leave our viewers with this question: do minorities deserve their right in Jammu and Kashmir? We will let our viewers take a call on this while we wait for the centre and the state to come back to Supreme Court on their point. They have 4 weeks to do so. But Mr. Ankur Sharma, Shabnam Lone and Anusha Soni, for the moment, many thanks for joining me on this India First special broadcast.